Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to my channel, The Value Creation Playbook. My name is Raja Mukherjee. The last episode we saw why isolated fixes don't stick. Today, I want to go after a belief that's almost sacred in business. That if results are disappointing, the answer is to work harder. I'm going to argue the opposite. That some of the hardest working companies I've ever seen are the least profitable. And it's not a coincidence. Here's the paradox. You walk into an organization where everyone is genuinely maxed out. Long hours, real commitment, smart people. People aren't always the problem. And I often say they're usually not the problem. Something else is. But that's a different discussion we'll have some other day. Now coming back to our situation, with all the long hours, real commitment, smart people, the results are still flat. The instinct from the board down is we need to push harder, but you can't push harder than maxed out. So, what's actually going on? I find it useful to separate two things. Effort is how hard each part of the business works. Coherence is whether all that efforts points towards the same direction. Most struggling mid-market firms don't have an effort problem. They have a coherence problem. And those need completely different fixes. More effort actually makes an incoherence problem worse because you are accelerating in conflicting directions. Let me show you the four I see most. First, strategy versus pricing. Leadership decides to move upmarket, premium positioning, higher value. But on the ground, pricing behavior hasn't changed. The team still discounts to win when there's a commodity. The strategy deck and the deal deck are telling customers two very different stories. Second, incentives versus goals. Sales is compensated on revenue. The board wants margin. So your most motivated people are optimizing for exactly the number that isn't your actual goal. They're not wrong. They're responding rationally to how you pay them. The incoherence is built into the comp plan. Another one, delivery versus finance. Delivery teams optimize for speed and client happiness. Understandable. That's the priority. But that often means front loading costs and backloading billing, which starves cash. Two functions, both doing their job well, pulling the balance sheet apart. Another one, growth targets versus capacity. The number says, say, grow by 40%. The actual delivery capacity supports 20% without quality slipping. So you either turn away work or overcommit and erode delivery. And the erosion shows up as margin loss 2 quarters later, looking like a delivery problem when it was really a planning incoherence. And here's the killer. Every one of these is individually defensible. You can justify each in isolation, but together they cancel each other out. And the harder everyone works, the faster they pull against each other. That's why effort doesn't fix it. You are not underpowered, you are misaligned. Alignment looks like this: a single coherent thread running from strategy through pricing, incentives, delivery, and cash. So each function's best efforts reinforces the other instead of fighting them. When that clicks, the same team working the same hours suddenly produce dramatically different results. Nothing changed except the direction. So if your team is exhausted and the numbers won't move, don't ask them to push harder. Ask whether they're aligned. And that's exactly where our free diagnostic reads disconnections for you. I have attached the link in the next slide. Use that. Happy to discuss your results. Book some time with me and we can go forward from there. The next episode, why your dashboard can be entirely green while the margin still bleeds, is what we talk about. So this is the coordinates. Let's stay connected, do the diagnostic, and in the next episode, we talk of another point of view that should get started in the right direction.